Hey everyone, it's BlueLizardJello here, and welcome back to another episode of Everything Possible in Dark Souls 2.
Who are you?
Today we take on Aldia's Keep, but before we do that, I'm afraid we have to say goodbye. But not before we get the Mirrah Greatsword and all of Lucatiel's stuff.
My name
but this is the last time that we'll see her. Now that we have summoned her 3 times and she survived, and we've met her near this bonfire, she is going to disappear from the game. We will, however, meet one more of her family members before we're done in this area, so something to look forward to. A few items up for grabs here in the bushes. We have the soul of a Nameless soldier and a Petrified dragon bone. We have some poison throwing knives. We have me equipping the rusted coins that I planned to use before I started killing the kobolds, but you'll see that I forget to do so, and some Lloyd talismans as well. Now these kobolds do have a good chance of dropping various items, including some of the Black Knight weapons, and also some hexes like Affinity. So this might be an area that you want to farm if you weren't able to pick up all of the Black Knight weapons previously. And like I said, I was going to use the rusted coin just to give myself a better drop rate. Unfortunately, I forgot to do that, and I actually get nothing from these kobolds, which I can honestly say is the first time I have killed all of them and not gotten a single drop. So hopefully you have better luck than I do. We have 3 Alluring Skulls here, and then in the back left corner of the courtyard we do have an iron chest. We can already see that it is a mimic because it does have the 2 locks on it. And we get the Dark Mask, which is the 4th and final piece of the Dark Armor set, and we get another Sunset Staff. Now the Dark Mask does have a hidden attribute in that when you're wearing it, it will actually increase your intelligence and your faith by 1. Over here next to the stairs we get ourselves a Fire Seed. Run up here, and we're going to hop into the fountain to pick up that not-so-hidden shiny, which is a Radiant Lifegem. And before we actually enter the keep, one last item, go around here to the left, and pick up a Twilight Herb. And as I mentioned earlier, we are going to run into one of Lucatiel's family members, and that would be Lucatiel. So if you've been paying attention to her storyline, you've heard that she actually came here in search of her brother. Well, unfortunately here he is. He's gone completely hollow, much like Lucatiel is about to do, and now his only driving force is to collect souls, which he's trying to do from us, but unfortunately Lucatiel, like many of the enemies in Dark Souls 2, does suffer from a pretty severe lightning allergy. So he's not too difficult. He does have a very rare chance of dropping the old Mirrah Greatsword, which is very similar, but it complements the Mirrah Greatsword that you actually get from Lucatiel. The safest thing to do in this room is just to run right up these stairs. This Dragon Skull is going to raise, and then it's going to dart forward, and if it hits you, from my understanding, it's an insta-kill. If it is not, please let me know in the comments below, but from everything I've read, regardless of your HP, that will kill you. They try to bait you out with that shiny on the ground, but it is just a fading soul, so if you don't want to get it, I'm not going to be mad. Now we are offline, so it's pretty weird to see messages, and as you start reading through them and they're all telling you to pull back, you can bet that the developers were really trying to warn you not to pull this lever. And I'm even going to give them the no 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 gesture, because I've pulled it before, and it sucks. And the reason it sucks is because what you do when you pull that lever, we're going to see just on the opposite side, there is a magic prison holding Navalon the Sorcerer in there. When you pull that lever, he's released, and he's going to invade you time and time again, and he uses some pretty powerful hexes. The only reason he's even talking to me right now is because I'm hollow. If you talk to him when you're human, he will only give you a couple lines of dialogue. However, because we're hollow, he is giving us some missions because he wants us to assassinate some people. The first person that he wants us to kill is Laddersmith Gilligan. And that's the reason why we actually bought the ladder miniature earlier. Next, he wants us to kill Aael, and he wants his helmet as proof, which we don't have yet. Then he'll want us to kill Falcon, and he'll want the Sunset Staff as proof. And lastly, he wants us to kill the Emerald Maiden, and he wants the Age's Feather as proof. So we will be coming back to Navalon once we've gotten the rest of the items. In fact, at this point, we just need Aael's helmet and the Age's Feather, which we'll actually get at the end of this episode. But what he'll reward you with as you continue through the quests, so we already got the Dispelling Ring, which provides you with an extra 60 magic, lightning, fire, and dark damage protection. Then he'll give us a Simpleton Spice, then his Forbidden Sun Pyromancy, then his Unleashed Magic, and then after we've gotten all the items, he'll actually give us the Chaos set, and then he becomes a merchant for us. We just killed a phony crystal lizard, so just don't get too close to that. Open the iron chest, pick up the great magic barrier, and now we're going to go fight some more Mirror Squires. So just like we fought Mirror Squire when we actually fought the Looking Glass Knight, those same types of enemies are here. I just like watching them trying to escape. Now these enemies, if you get the jump on them, pose little to no threat whatsoever. You can see that I'm able to take them out before they've even aggroed on me. Melee, it's a little bit harder, but again, if you get the jump on them, you're going to do massive amounts of damage before they even realize what's happening. There are 3 of them, so make sure you kill all of them before you try to loot. Here's our third and final. And with them dead, we can pick up the Northern Ritual Band +2 and another Petrified Dragon Bone. Now we already have at least one version of the Northern Ritual Band, and what it does is it reduces your HP, but it gives you extra spell uses. And coming up the staircase, we do come against a Petrified Ogre. Now freeing him is completely optional. There is a staircase to the left that we could take and completely bypass him. However, he does actually drop the Dragon Acolyte mask. Now the rest of the Dragon Acolytes that we'll actually see in this level will drop the rest of the set, but the mask only comes from killing this Ogre. And I have to say, it's a pretty cool looking mask. Not to mention, he's incredibly easy to kill since he can't actually get near you. So there's our mask. And we will head upstairs now, where there's a giant basilisk trapped in a cage. Again, killing him is completely optional. I choose to kill him because he does have a chance of dropping a few different infusion stones. However, typically he aggroes on you and he'll actually break through. I'm not sure what was going on with his AI at this point, but well, he tried to attack at the last moment. And in front of this cage there's a Crimson Water. And before we proceed, make sure that we go in the same hallway that we just got Great Magic Barrier, just one level up. Run down to the end because there is an iron chest, and inside we have a pair of Bonfire Ascetics. Is that a spoiler? Because I said it too early? Sorry, spoiler alert. They're Bonfire Ascetics. Now, Aldia's Keep, for the most part, consists of this next hallway. Most of the action is going to take place here. So after we pull this chain that this unfortunate dragon has apparently swallowed, it'll open the way forward, and then immediately to the right, the other right, there's a Pharros Lockstone contraption. Using this does not open up a door like it does in some places, but it does illuminate the hallway. It does make this hallway significantly easier to get through, though. And before we focus on any of the enemies or any of the items that are available, we are going to rush forward, open this door, grab a Pharros Lockstone that is, again, to the right, come on, behind these bookshelves, or potion shelves. And then as you head down the stairs, once you get to the landing, turn left, and just use the activate button because there is an illusory wall, and behind it is the second bonfire here and Aldia's Key. Very easy to miss that one. And judging by the looks of that liquid, it is probably not something that's too safe to just splash around in. So we're going to take care of these dogs, and then afterwards we're going to remove all of our equipment so we don't suffer any equipment damage, because this is the same liquid that we ran into in Dranglake Castle. Now there is an alternate way of getting into this pit that we'll see a bit later, but this is by far the safer of the two methods. The other one has you dropping in from the top, and sometimes it can be difficult to get a lock onto the dogs if you're coming from that direction. And the first item up for grabs is a large soul of a Nameless soldier and a Corrosive Urn, and then we have the Aldia Key, which we'll use in a moment. And lastly, we have the Soul Geyser sorcery and a Petrified Dragon Bone. Now the Soul Geyser fires 4 soul spears straight out in front of you, similar to what the Lady of Pyromancers were using in the Undead Crypt. Now because I have so many items and because it takes so long to put all of my gear back on, thanks to the magic of editing, you don't have to suffer through it. If only we could use the same editing to wait for girls when they're getting ready in real life. Am I right, guys? If you were next to me, I'd be kind of elbowing you in the chest. But I'm only kidding, girls. You don't take that long to get ready. Usually. That's a stereotype. It's just so often true. Moving on. These are the Dragon Acolytes. So if you're looking to farm for the rest of the Dragon Acolyte armor set, this is where you want to farm. They also have a pretty decent drop rate of Petrified Dragon Bones. So if there are particular boss weapons that you're looking to upgrade, this could be a good place for you to farm. As soon as you hit this Ogre, he is going to aggro like a madman. But I'll just use my trusty enchanted pickaxe. Get him into his butt stomp animation. And just wreck him. For those of you who don't know, as long as you stay relatively behind him, the ogres will continue to just slam their butt down to the ground and leave themselves wide open. And we can see the shiny under the table. Break that and pick up a Radiant Lifegem. And we do have another Dragon Acolyte hiding behind this painting. Now they will do some pretty massive damage with their melee attacks. What you really want to watch out for though is when you give them range and you've done damage, they will actually try to heal themselves. So if you see them reaching for that Estus Last, make sure you get up there and you attack them quickly. Now we're going to use that Aldia Key that we picked up and head over into this side room. Only a pair of items in here, but it can help you to get a drop on the Ogre that's at the end of this level if you want to. Also, watch this tracking. The tracking on the pickaxe may be the worst of any weapon in the game. I've really enjoyed playing with the pickaxe just because it's unique and it's fun and it just looks kind of cool, but the tracking is terrible. All they need to do is list lazily to the left and the enemy is out of the range of your attack because you're going to go where they originally were. There's the Petrified Dragon Bone. One more Acolyte to kill. By the way, there is 5 points up for grabs if anyone can leave a comment indicating what show or movie I just referenced by stating listing lazily to the left. Pick up a Soul of a Proud Knight off that table and deal with this poison horn beetle mushroom creature. Aldia's Keep is full of disgusting creatures because this is where they've actually been experimenting and creating some of the creatures we've actually run into throughout the game. Large Soul of a Brave Warrior, and now, if you want to get a drop on the Ogre, like I said, you can come to the end of this room, open up the doorway, and then you can just see him right in there waiting. He is going to ambush us when we get to the end of the hallway. He's actually going to smash through the wall. We're not going to kill him there, though, because we actually need him in order to get one of the items that's hidden behind a locked door. And in this cage, we have another one of the enhanced undeads, or mutated undeads, or whatever it is the official strategy guide calls them. This is the same type of creature that we ran into in the bottom of Sinner's Rise right before fighting the Lost Sinner. And they can even drop the same item that we picked up earlier, the Malformed Skull. In fact, we're going to get a second one. So if you're looking to dual-wield Malformed Skulls, here's your chance. So we're going to open this door, but there's really no need for us to if you already took the route that I went, because all that's in here is a single Dragon Acolyte, and that hole leads down to that acid pit that we went in, we killed the dogs, and we got the Aldia Key from. There are no items hidden in here, so you can skip this altogether if you followed the route earlier. And let's go ahead and aggro this Ogre. He breaks through the wall. He's going to smash through anything in his path, including these wagons that have creatures in them. And the first one that he smashes has a basilisk, and he'll also smash this cage, which, fortunately for us, allows us to get the item that the undead dropped. But what we're going to do is lure him down here. You can see these large doors with the chains that say locked. Well, the Ogre can't actually read, so locked doesn't mean anything to him. So he'll just go ahead and Hulk smash his way through, allowing us to get the chest behind him. Ogre dead, we'll pick up the Malformed Skull. And we'll head over to the Iron Chest where we're actually going to pick up a related item, the Malformed Shell. So another piece of a giant creature that does massive amounts of damage and a lot of poise damage. However, we're going to take a look at the malformed shell because I have a little bit of a problem with it. A shell to me would be something like, oh, and a boltstone, but who cares, I'm talking here. A shell would be something like on the back of a turtle or a crab or some sort of mollusk. Let's take a look at this weapon and see if it looks like any of those. Absolutely not. Those are teeth. I'm not holding a piece of a shell, I'm holding a piece of a jaw. And it looks like, and this is complete speculation on my part, has no backup whatsoever. Those teeth look a lot like the teeth in the primordial serpents in Dark Souls 1, Framped and Kath. Again, I'm not saying anything, I'm not trying to actually speculate, but that's what they remind me of when I see them. Simpleton Spice and a Twilight Herb and another ambush here. Just stick to the right corner and you'll be fine. But really, how do they think that's a shell? Mistranslation maybe, or maybe the Japanese word for jaw and shell are the same or similar. I don't know. Bothered me. It shouldn't have, it's such a small detail. I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna just let it roll off my back. Water under the bridge. Let bygones be bygones. A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. Other cliches. Alright, Guardian Dragon fight. Ready, go. Here's the strategy. Make sure you have Great Lightning Spear and a decent casting implement, and just spam. You know, like most boss strategies at this point. And because it has such awesome tracking, we don't even have to worry about when it goes straight above. Which is really the only time you have to be concerned anyway. But one last Great Lightning Spear and he is dead. We'll pick up his soul and we'll proceed to the longest elevator in Dark Souls 2. Some of them have already been pretty long. This one takes the cake. But before you do that, make sure you turn to the right and grab the Dragon Scale. If you want to level up in the Dragon Remnants Covenant later on, this will be a great way to do it. And I just love this view. I adore this view. And I understand that the backdrop itself is just a static backdrop, and there's nothing all that special about it. The clouds are moving, so that's something, but it's just absolutely gorgeous. Now, at least FromSoft was kind enough so that while you're on the longest elevator of the game, you're going to have some beautiful background to look... Oh. Okay. Well, there it is. Okay, there's some. Well. Really could have used some background music right here. Truth be told, I don't think this is the longest elevator. I'm fairly certain the Drangleic Castle elevator is longer, maybe even significantly so. But still, it was such a beautiful piece of scenery, and they just let it go to waste. It's okay, because now we really have some eye candy. Dragon Aerie, the most beautiful area in the entire game, in my opinion. Absolutely stunning. Filled with drakes flying across the sky, and oh look, the Emerald Maiden. So let's go ahead and exhaust our dialogue and get the Aged Feather. Now the Aged Feather is a really, really handy item because this acts as an unlimited homeward bone. Anytime you use it, it'll return you to the last bonfire that you rested at, and it even carries over into New Game Plus. So don't worry about homeward bones in New Game Plus because you shouldn't ever need it. Alright, well that is going to wrap up this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you learned something, leave me a comment and let me know what you learned. If I missed something, you gotta leave me a comment about that too. And I will catch you guys next time where we explore Dragon Aerie.